Good evening. Welcome to our 8:30 Bible Challenge. I apologize. The last couple nights I've been either out of town or I was, last evening I was at the Petersburg High School football game, and it went a little later than normal. I wasn't able to do one. I've often said that the Bible's got something to say about everything. And there's a few verses here in 2 Corinthians chapter number 2. It's the Apostle Paul writing in a letter to the group of Christians in Corinth. And within his letter, he explains that he's really sad, extremely sad, and he doesn't want his sadness to spill over onto the people that he's writing to. When he sees them, he doesn't want to show up and be all long-faced and sad and kind of kill the moment. And I don't know what, it doesn't say what Paul's been. He's been through so much more than I would have ever dreamed that I would have to go through. Even if persecution comes to me, Paul, he was stoned and beaten and just abused. They left him for dead and tried to capture him. And he ran from the authorities before. It was like he was a fugitive. And so, starting in verse 1 of chapter 2 of 2 Corinthians, he says, "But I determined this with myself." See, Paul, he knew he was struggling, and he said he determined this within himself, that I would not come again to you in heaviness or feel bad. He said, "For if I make you sorry, who is he then that maketh me glad? But the same which is made sorry by me." And so Paul realized, he said, if I make you sorry, be glad. And Paul said, you're the ones that make me glad. And if I come and I make you sad, then I can be glad. And so it doesn't work. And he said, and I wrote the same unto you, lest when I came, I should have sorrow from them of whom I ought to rejoice. And so he says, that's not my reason for coming. I want to come and have rejoicing and joy. And he says, having confidence in you all, that my joy is the joy of you all. He said, I want the joy that you have to spill over into my heart, my life. And so Paul, he must have been struggling with something that really had him. And he was very, very sad. And he was afraid. He was fearful. And he was determined in himself. I don't want my sadness and my trouble, my troubled spirit, to spill over onto these people. The next verse 4, he said, for out of much affliction and anguish of heart, I wrote unto you with many tears, not that ye should be grieved, that they might know the love which I have more abundantly unto you. So he didn't want them to focus on his affliction and anguish and tears. He wanted them to know that he loved them. So, if you're watching this, you're my friend, I want you to know I love you too. It's good to have friends. Friends can pick you up when you're down. So, if you're watching this and you come to our church, invite a friend, bring a friend with you in the morning. Remember, 10:30 is cookies and coffee and donuts. Service at 11.